What's going on, guys? Miguel here, back with another video. Hope you guys are having a great weekend so far, and I just wanted to make this video because I just want to draw value as much as possible. I hope you guys have been enjoying the analysis videos I've been dropping. In the comments below, leave any videos you'd like to see. But other than that, guys, I want to make this video based on supply and demand. So supply and demand is super key because basically it's a form of support and resistance, but more in depth. So support and resistance is just like, for example, if I'm placing one type of line, like one line, and it kind of shows you where there's some type of support right here on the top side and then resistance here right on the left side. Okay, so that's support and resistance. What supply and demand is, it's basically when it's an area, so you have a general idea of an area where when it gets to that area, it's gonna either break through completely or most likely gonna turn around. I'm going to show you a couple examples of supply and demand, and then so you guys can have a good idea of what it is and what you should look for. So for example, let me find a good example. I want to make sure it's clean, it makes sense, and there's no complications for you guys when you guys are doing this. Okay, guys, so here's a perfect example of supply and demand. Basically, supply's at the top. It's like the resistance points, and what you want to do is you want to draw it from the top you want to look to the left a little bit. You want to draw it from the top, and I usually draw from the top to the body. Okay, so the top of the wick to the body. So there's the wick up here, and then basically I draw it to the body of the previous resistance point. Now, as you can see, this area is basically acting as a whole zone, right? It's a whole zone, and if you draw it across the top, every time it hit this zone, it dropped. Every single time it made its way back up to this area, it rejected and rejected and rejected. This is what you call a supply zone. So it's super powerful when you're able to identify these zones, because it gives you an extra confirmation. That's the big thing about trading, is you want to have extra and multiple confirmations, because the more confirmations, the stronger your setup's going to be, the less stressful it's going to be to take and manage as well. So that's an example of supply, and I'm going to show you an example of demand. And one thing I want to say is that everybody draws their supply and demand differently. You may draw it the same as me, other people may draw it a little differently. It's all preference. It's all preference how you draw it. The big thing is just making sure that you understand that it's not always going to be perfect. Some may be broken at a certain point, and it's just a zone. It's one confirmation out of many that you should have in any given setup. So you're never going to basically take a trade based on just, oh, it hit this supply zone. Never. You're not going to say it came to this level, I'm going to sell it for sure. Always just be looking for multiple confirmations, and if it gets to this level and gives you multiple confirmations, then it's good to sell. But let's get into this demand zone. Demand zone is basically the support. So supply equals resistance, demand equals support. And basically I do it the same way, just at the bottom. Draw it from the wick to the body of the candle. So for example, the wick, let me zoom in. Right there, the wick to the body and all the way across. And as you can see, this level broke through a little bit, but overall respected the zone, came right back into that area and shot back up. And this is what you call a demand zone. Okay, guys, demand zone. And I'm actually gonna write equals support. Okay, and then I'm gonna also switch up the top one, and I'm gonna write supply zone equals resistance. Okay, guys, so supply zone equals resistance, demand zone equals support. Okay, and it's super key because, as you can see, every single time it came down to this demand zone, aka support, it shot up. Every time it went down, it went up to this supply zone, aka resistance, it shot down, and it was just ranging in this zone. And this is so powerful to know because you can catch bigger moves and understand where potentially later on a bigger move can end up having issues. For example, if you're looking to sell up here based on multiple confirmations, you kind of have an idea if you have a demand zone that it may possibly turn around at that demand zone and go back up to your supply zone. Now, this isn't going to happen every single time because eventually any given zone is going to be broken. As you can see right over here, it ended up getting broken eventually, but it did have a huge run. One hit at the bottom, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 powerful moves. And as you can see, this zone, if we're going to measure this, this zone is about 400 pips. So 400 up, 400 down, 400 up, 400 down, based on multiple confirmations. There's also, definitely, pullbacks in between and stuff like that as it flows through. But just understand it's super powerful as an extra confirmation for longer term targets and bigger goals, just to give you an idea of where price could have the most issues consistently. Now, one thing I want to say is that for a supply zone and a demand zone, for it to be actually valid, the first point, wherever you choose to plot, needs to actually go away from price. So it needs to literally move away from it. And then the demand zone needs to move away from it. It can't just play around in that area, like consolidate on it, because that's not actually a supply zone. For example, this is kind of showing it right here, like this consolidation right here. This wouldn't count as it leaving. You need to completely leave, okay, and completely bounce away. But like I said, it's super powerful, guys. Demand zones, supply zones, they're definitely going to help you in your trading a lot because it gives you an idea of long-term targets, long-term areas where price could have issues. And they're definitely not going to hurt to be on your charts, especially if you're using them properly. I do recommend you use supply and demand on higher time frames, 4-hour, daily, preferably. You could even do it on bigger time frames, but I just think that for the most part, people are going to be capitalizing the best on the 4-hour and the daily. You can use them on the 1-hour and 2-hour, but it's just not as solid. Price is more likely to break through a supply and demand on a smaller time frame, but the 4-hour and daily are super solid for supply and demand. Definitely it's going to help you in your trading in 2019. If you enjoyed this video, basically go ahead and like this video, share this video with somebody who is kind of struggling with supply and demand, or even could just see the way I do it, maybe from a different perspective. Like I said, if you do like this video, be sure to like this video, share this video, comment below something that you got from this video, if anything, and also be sure to subscribe if you're coming here for the first time. I'm going to be posting a lot of good content to help you trading all 2019, and hit that little bell next to the subscribe button. It's for notifications so you never miss an upload that I do, so you guys can continue to get some solid information to help your trading. Like I said, guys, I appreciate you guys watching. Hit that like button, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.